So today we're going to talk a little bit about cocktails, older classic cocktails, and how classic cocktails have kind of changed. We're just going to start real simple. We're going to start with an old-fashioned. A lot of people, as far as whiskey goes, they like it on ice or maybe just neat. But a lot of my friends, they love to drink whiskey, and so they'll ask me questions like, what do I do with whiskey, or how do I make a good old-fashioned? So we're going to talk a little bit about the origin of that particular cocktail, but it can apply to any cocktails. We can take this information and take other classics and change them in the same way. So when we're talking about old fashions, start with a glass. All cocktails are made glass, liquor, juice, ice. So we're going to start with our glass. One of the things I see a lot of people doing right now, which is really popular, is smoking in glass. So we've got thyme, we've got sage, we've got rosemary. All these things can be used to give a cocktail dimension and depth, because we want to make it an unforgettable experience for your guests. So that starts with presentation, because like anything, like the way we eat, first we eat with our eyes. So I'm just using rosemary right here as an example, because when it burns real nicely. These herbs are so fresh, they're not burning terribly well, but you get the idea behind it. So I could burn this in front of the guests, use my shot glass to let it burn, and then just set my glass, and then I'll start to get my other ingredients in order. So it's not going to be a terrible amount of smoke, and you don't want a terrible amount of smoke, because you really don't want everybody in the place, his good time, being disturbed by the smell of one cocktail, because one person might love the smell of rosemary, and to another person it might be overpowering. Especially women have very sensitive olfactory sensations. It might not be something they want to smell. So it's just a hint, but it's going to give that cocktail some more dimension. So the original old fashions, does it matter if they were making the 806 at the first time? Not really, Were they made with some sugar? Were they made with some bitters? And then whiskey as a base? Probably. So I started with the sugar cube, but a lot of cocktails at that time were also made with powdered sugar, and that makes for a great one to use as well, because it dissolves very fast. So I've got my bitters, I've got my sugar cube, and then I could also, if I want to make something interesting, I can use a different type of flavored bitters. So citrus is a good flavored bitters. We've also got like walnut and chocolate, mole. Then I'm going to add my whiskey. You can try to muddle that sugar cube while it's still hard like that, but I find it's just much easier to give it a second to relax in the liquid, and then it just breaks apart so much easier instead of having to fumble in front of people. You want things to be smooth. Now, for my old fashions, I would recommend using a big cube, but you know what you do? You use what you got on hand. So the ice they use here just happens to be ice that breaks down a little faster. I want to get that sugar off the bottom. I want to let that ice dilute a little bit, soften things up, get my bitters all around. And what would be a traditional garnish would be a orange peel, all around on the inside, so you get some part of the fruit. And then if you really want a nice presentation, it's pretty traditional with like a Manhattan, but you give it a little light and you squeeze. So you get that little flame, just nice presentation. And you drop that on top. You don't really want your garnish inside the drink, because of that oil. It has a little bitterness, and to me it kind of ruins the cocktail. So right there, just looking pretty. We have a few different types of bitters we can use. We can use anything from like a citrus to a walnut to a chocolate to a mole. So lots of different options. There's optimizers that I think do a great job of getting a glass ready. Just giving it a little bit. These are great even for martinis. So there is the Wisconsin old fashioned where they use an orange and then a cherry, and we can make our old fashions like this as well. But we want to wow our guests. So one of the things that goes good with bourbon is peaches, and these peaches are super ripe. And so what we're going to do with these peaches is make our old fashioned again. I have some citrus bitters that I'm going to use for this, and I'm not going to add any sugar. You add the sugar because you want it to increase the sweetness if your fruit's not sweet enough. But if this fruit's sweet enough already, no need for the sugar. I'm going to add 2 ounces of bourbon, and then I'm going to muddle again. Top it with ice. And then I would either top with soda, or I'd just enjoy with a nice garnish on the top. And this is your presentation part. So you can leave the peach. You can combine the peach with other fruit. Or you can take and garnish with a nice piece of herb. This not only adds to the look of your old fashioned or to your cocktail, but as your friend or guest is putting it to their nose and to their lips, they get all the aromatics of everything involved here. So just another version of the old fashioned. So we've got our original old fashioned. We've got a old fashioned that's been muddled with cherries and oranges, which would be our Wisconsin old fashioned. We've got something with a little different with the peach, but you can use anything. You can use strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Makes a great old fashioned. And then we could just leave the fruit all out all together. One of the things I really love and goes good with bourbon is apple cider. So apple cider, you could make this drink with the apple cider instead of muddling the fruit. Of course, lemonade and bourbon go very good together. And this in particular is Palma, which is pomegranate, but for some reason it just makes bourbon and pomegranate together very nicely. And you wouldn't think so, but black cherry goes together well with bourbon. There's a lot of things that go good with bourbon. So these are just a few examples of some innovative ways to take a classic cocktail and make something new and exciting for your guests. I hope you enjoy. If you like this video, please click like down below, subscribe, or check out some of my books on Amazon. Thanks so much.